spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain.
We're going. Thompson.
Yes, here.
Festerson.
Here.
Gurnett.
Here.
Gray.
Here.
Jerem.
Here.
Stothard. Here. Mr. President.
Here. Please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our invocation by Councilmember Thompson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My prayer today is one for perspective, especially during this election season, known by some as the silly season. And you know, it's always we always want to win. I want to win this contract. I want to win this election. Just know that if we win and then lose perspective of who we're here serving you, the people, especially our children. If we win, but then we lose perspective of that, we've lost. And so my prayer is that we refocus and get our perspective for why it is we do what we do and who we're doing it for, and that we don't forget that we're servants and not boxers in a ring. Amen.
City Clerk certifies publication on the Daily Record on March 22nd. Notice for a pre-council and regular City Council meeting March 26, 2013. Current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of the legislative chambers.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Omaha City Council. This meeting is conducted in public and by law may only address the topics listed on the published agenda. The Council will hear testimony but will not engage in debate of issues with the public at this meeting. During testimony, it is not appropriate to applaud or convey disapproval. These actions only detract from the formal decorum of the meeting. At this time, please turn off or mute any electronic device. Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance on second reading, item number 5, ordinance authorizing and approving a lease purchase agreement between the City of Omaha Public Facilities Corporation and the City for the lease purchase of and financing of equipment and improvements to certain real property comprising the golf project.
Public hearing on agenda item number 5 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Zoning ordinances on final reading, planning board attachments, item number 6, ordinance to rezone property located at 701 South 24th Street from DS to CBD Central Business District. Said property is also within an ACI 1PL overlay district. A, planning board and planning department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 6 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Passed 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7E, agenda items number 7 through 9 shall be laid over 2 weeks for publication and public hearing. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7E, agenda item number 10 shall be laid over for 2 weeks. Liquor, item number 11, Salt 88 LLC, 3620 North 129th Street. Class C liquor license, new application, new location. There's communications from planning saying if you wish to grant this, it should be contingent on their getting the proper permits.
Public hearing on agenda item number 11 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes. Michael Huffer, Cassim Tierney, Adams, Gotch, and Douglas, 9290 West Dodge Road, Suite 302, Omaha, Nebraska. I am the attorney for the applicant.
John Horvatinovich, owner, member, and operator of Salt 88.
And we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Contingent upon getting the proper permits.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Adopted 7-0. Item number 12, Pana 88, 3201 Farnham Street, Class C liquor license, new application, new location.
Public hearing on agenda item number 12 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes. Michael Huffer, attorney for the applicant.
Charles Yin, owner.
And please state your address.
32 business address is 3201 Farnham Street, Suite 6107.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray? Jerem? Stothard? Mr. President?
Yes.
It's adopted 7-0. Item number 13, Wilson and Washburn, 1407 Harney Street, Class C liquor license, new application, new location. They're requesting an amendment to remove the outdoor area.
Can we,
We need,
what's,
I know, not him, we need the, where's the sheriff? We can go on, continue. Would you please put the signs down? All right. We can go on without him. We're giving him more.
I guess we should start without the sheriff in here.
He's here right now. He's here. He's here. We're done.
Thank you for your patience, gentlemen.
Okay.
Public hearing on agenda item number 13 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes. Michael Huffer, attorney for the applicant.
Jeff Luby, co-owner, 1407 Harney, Wilson and Washburn.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Oh, one point of clarification. I think we're here on an application for liquor license as well as a request for amendment to that
Yes.
application.
Yeah, we got that.
Second.
Roll call.
This is on the amendment. Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Second.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Adopted as amended, 7-0. Item number 14 is Kitchen Table, 1415 Farnham Street, Class I liquor license, new application, new location.
Public hearing on agenda item number 14 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes. Colin Duggan, owner, partner, Kitchen Table, 1415 Farnham.
Jessica Duggan, owner, partner, member,
And your address, please.
1415 Farnham.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray? Jerem? Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
It's adopted 7-0. Thank you. Item number 15, Marcus Majestic, 14304 West Maple Road, Class I liquor license, new application, new location.
Public hearing on agenda item number 15 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yep. I'm Jeff Tomaszek, Executive Vice President for the Marcus Theaters Corporation. We are proposing a Take 5 lounge at our Marcus Majestic Cinema, formerly the 20 Grand Cinema, located on 14304 West Maple Road.
Sir, will you just be serving alcohol in the lounge itself? Is that the, or will you be able to take a cocktail into the theater?
You will be able to take a cocktail in the theater, yeah. I was here about a month and a half ago on the Village Point Cinema. It's very similar. Really one of the main differences here is the entire facility is undergoing a complete renovation inside and out. We also will have food, so we'll have a small menu of items inside the lounge and also available to our concession guests, including small plate appetizers, boutique sandwiches, and our signature Zaffiro's pizza.
And if you could just kind of repeat your security process as far as, I mean, how do we ensure that underage patrons won't be having cocktails?
Yep. First of all of our bartenders and servers go through the Surf Safe program. We have our own internal training programs. I have a director of food and beverage that's been in this culinary business for many years. We currently own more than 30 bars and restaurants that we put all these servers through our own training. We also have a secret shopper service to make sure that our servers are trained and to card and look for minors, make sure that we're not serving any alcohol to any minors. The staff members are required to make multiple visits into the auditoriums, into each auditorium over the course of each movie. We also have infrared binoculars that they're able to use to kind of monitor what's going on in the dark. So we've got a number of precautions that we go through to make sure that that minors do not have the ability to drink alcoholic beverages in our theaters. This is our 5th Take 5 lounge. We've knock on wood, we've never had any incidents. We've never had any calls to any of the local police departments. It's really not an environment where kids really want to come to drink. It's much more adult oriented, and we take the responsibility of managing that process very seriously.
So you will have a lounge area.
Yep.
That's correct. So you'll purchase your cocktail there. You could sit at a table
Yep.
there in the lounge area, and then when it's showtime, you could take your cocktail into the theater.
You can, yeah. A number of people will. I would say the majority of our people, most of our guests will visit before or after and spend some time in the lounge. Like I said, either before or after their show. Some people will want to take a glass of wine or their favorite beverage into the auditoriums. I'd say that's more of the exception than the rule. We've got seating for about 60 people. We've got soft seating, flat screen TVs. It's done in a very very nice, fairly high-end setting. We also have a baby grand piano kind of as the centerpiece of this space, so it's not a tavern-y type place. It's a very kind of nice upscale place for adults to enjoy themselves.
All right, fine. Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Second.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Adopted 7-0. Item number 16, Plank Seafood Provisions, 1201 Howard Street, Class I liquor license, new application, new location.
Public hearing on agenda item number 16 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the council. My name is Sean Kelly, 7134 Pacific Street. Appearing today on behalf of the applicant. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
We need that contingent on their getting their proper permits. Yeah. Thank you.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Jerem passes the second time for potential conflict of interest. Is adopted 6-0-1 passing. Item number 17, I Don't Care Bar and Grill, 3346 North 108th Street, Class I liquor license, new application, old location.
Public hearing on agenda item number 17 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, Steven Sizemore, 3346 North 108th Street, Omaha, Nebraska 68164.
Sir, now it says the I Don't Care Bar, but I'm sure you really do care, don't you?
I do.
Okay. Are there any other proponents? Got a girl. Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Second.
Roll call.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Jerem.
Yes.
Stothard. Mr. President.
Yes.
Adopted 7-0. Item number 18, B&T Convenience and Liquor Store, 2704 Florence Boulevard, package liquor license, new application, new location. And you had on your desk a letter from the attorney for the applicant stipulating to no single can beers and the airplane shots as well.
Public hearing on agenda item number 18 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, my name is Sean Kelly, 7134 Pacific, appearing today on behalf and with the applicant. At this location on 2704 Florence Boulevard, the applicant is sensitive to the neighborhood, and because of that reason, in our conversation with Councilman Gray, we decided to restrict this license to no single cans and to limit the size of distilled spirits to no bottles 1.7 ounces or 200 milliliters or less, which is commonly referred to as airplane bottle shots. So with that, we'd be happy to answer any other questions. And I know one item we talked about is if this is a successful operation, which we suspect it will be, certainly have a lot of confidence that it will be, he would like to have the opportunity to do singles at some point if the council sees fit. So I just wanted to put that on the record and make sure that was discussed.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. President. And as the attorney pointed out, we did agree to limit the sales to single bottles, no single bottles or cans, and no airplane shots to be revisited. We will revisit that in about 6 months. And that's pretty much the agreement that we've agreed to. In addition to that, just as a suggestion only, it might be beneficial to join the neighborhood association there as well. That way you have consistent contact with neighbors, and you will be able to hear from them firsthand some of the concerns they may have as you open up. But certainly we'll be able to look at that again. But I'd like to also include the neighborhood association as we talk through that. So joining the neighborhood association is just a suggestion, but I hope you'll take that seriously, and we'll review this again in 6 months. Okay? With that, I'll make a motion to pass. Well, approve.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
And Jerem passed the second time for potential conflict of interest. It's adopted 6-0, passing. Item number 19, Rolling River, River City Star, 151 Freedom Park Road, request permission for a special designated license for a beer garden at that location, the Northfield area, on May 26, 2013, from 12 noon to 1 a.m. with music ending at 1 a.m.
Public hearing on agenda item number 19 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Amy Parch, 151 Freedom Park Road, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Gray.
Thank you again, Amy. Let me ask you this real quick. I know you did. I know you had the same event last year. What time did you close? Did the music stop at midnight?
No, we had it. You guys approved it
till 1 o'clock, and you didn't have any complaints or anything that I'm aware of.
No complaints and no issues.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Approved 7-0. We'll take items 20 through 22. They're all Big Red Keno satellite locations. 20 is resolution authorizing Big Red to operate a satellite Keno location at Dinker's Bar, 2368 South 29th Street. 21 is Fire Barn Sports Bar and Grill at 4871-75 L Street. And 22 is the League, 741 North 114th Street.
Public hearing on agenda items numbers 20, 21, 22 begin now. Are there any proponents?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, my name is Katrina Coffey. I'm Vice President for Big Red Keno. We're located at 11248 John Galt Boulevard. I have with me today the owners of all three of the locations, and we're here to ask for your approval, please.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray? Jerem? Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
They're all adopted 7-0.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause an item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
The public hearing on agenda items numbers 23 through 27 were held on March the 19th, 2013. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
They're all passed 7-0. We're going to remove item number 39 from the resolution consent agenda.
The public hearing on agenda items numbers 28 through 38 and 40 and 41 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by your name, address, who you represent, and if you are a proponent or opponent. Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard? Mr. President?
Yes.
Items 28 through 38, 40, 41 have been adopted 7-0. Now, item 39 is resolution that is recommended by the mayor between 5 a.m. on Friday, March 29th, and 9 a.m. on Saturday, March 30th. Montclair Community Center shall be open to accommodate an event, and we have a request from the event planner to remove this item, to withdraw this item.
So moved.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Been withdrawn 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7H, due to no meeting being held April 2nd, the third reading on agenda items number 42 through 55 shall be held on April 9th. The public hearing on these items are today. 42 is ordinance declaring necessity of acquiring property for the purpose of constructing the Webster-Nicholas Sewer Separation Phase 1 project.
Public hearing on agenda item number 42 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item number 43, ordinance authorizes the issue of a purchase order to Midwest Laboratories for testing of water and wastewater samples at the wastewater treatment plants.
Public hearing on agenda item number 43 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
We'll take items 44 through 46, one public hearing. 44 is ordinance to accept the bid of Abe's Trash for rubbish container services for various community centers. 45 is for the Jean Leahy Mall, and 46 is for the park maintenance during the 2013 park season.
Public hearing on agenda items number 44, 45, 46 are today. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item number 47, ordinance to approve the third addendum to the Facilities Management Services and Lease Agreement between the City and Mecca for the operation of the Civic Auditorium.
Public hearing on agenda item number 47 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Festerson.
Thanks, Mr. President. I just wanted to have a little brief exchange on this today that we talked about in pre-council. So this is the revised agreement for the Civic Auditorium that will shorten what is usually a yearly contract with Mecca to only half of a year, realizing that the Civic Auditorium is scheduled to close in June of 2014. And I think the questions are to Mr. Herring, the acting finance director, and possibly Brooke Bench, about the facility itself. So obviously we're doing this new agreement only for the 6-month time frame because we do anticipate it being closed end of June 2014, right?
That's correct.
Your name, please?
My name's Al Herrick with the City Finance Department.
Thank you, sir.
And typically, this contract has been with Mecca, but this time it's not because there is no future events being booked in there, nor can they, with the facility not being open year-long. And so therefore the city is saying we will accept the risk in what subvention might be needed to keep the facility in the black, right?
That is correct.
And then for budgeting purposes, I think we'd all like to know before we approve this next week, what do we anticipate that loss being? Is it the same as we've anticipated in past years and no more than that? Or what are we planning to do if this is approved next week via the budget in coming months?
Well, the MECA operates on a little bit different fiscal year than we do. But on their last fiscal year, they lost $250,000 on this contract, and with the city will reimburse that amount. For the period July 1st, 2013 through June 30th of 2014, they project a loss of $350,000. So how much it is attributed to the last 6 months, I'm not sure, but the total is $350,000.
So what's our maximum exposure with this new contract then for next year?
Well, for that, half of that would be $175,000.
Okay, and you're confident that would be our maximum exposure in the budget, or at least certainly not more than $250,000 that we've experienced in previous years?
And that's currently what it is, yes. I feel comfortable with that amount.
Okay. And it does say June 30, and I think the reason it says that is because it does still accommodate some of the high school graduations and dance recitals planned for May and June, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
But, Al, there is no cap, though, is there? I mean, it could exceed $250,000, correct?
That is correct, and to be honest with you, the old contract really didn't have a cap on it either, and at the end of the day, we were liable for the total loss of the old contract too. But MECA managed that fairly well, and it's just been the last couple of years that they've actually operated in a loss.
And obviously, though, they'll be operating the facility in a way that winds things down and controls costs and all those things for January to June?
Yes, they know that it's just a temporary situation, and will try to manage accordingly.
I believe they were sharing staff, but obviously if there's no events going on during those months, there shouldn't be staff over there, and therefore shouldn't have those costs, correct?
Yeah, there should be a savings with staff costs, electrical costs, and again, they'll manage the building accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kernan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know that we have a contract who has responsibility for the management of that facility, but it's been around a long time, and there are personnel there. I'm just wondering about these jobs. Who can speak on that? Mr. Kerrigan?
Steve Kerrigan, Assistant HR Director. Actually, none of their staff are city workers anymore. When MECA took over the facility some years ago, we moved out all the city employees from that facility, so that would be MECA's responsibility.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Mr. Clerk.
Item number 48, ordinance to approve an agreement between the city and the Board of Regents, the University of Nebraska, and University of Nebraska at Omaha for a proactive analysis of the local crime problems and to actively assist law enforcement in developing a contingency proactive plan for gun crime reduction.
Public hearing on agenda item number 48 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 49, ordinance to amend section 2-71 pertaining to the salary of mayor to freeze the mayor's salary at 0% for 2015, 16, 17, and 18.
Public hearing on agenda item number 49 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item number 50, ordinance to amend section 2-21 pertaining to the salaries of city council members to freeze the city council members' salaries at 0% for 2015, 16, 17, and 18.
Public hearing on agenda item number 50 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Festerson.
Thanks, Mr. President. I would just say that I'm supportive of both these items, number 49 and 50. Just public hearing today, so I guess the vote will be on April 9th. But I do think it's important that we continue to lead by example and continue to address the city's financial issues and show that we're willing to do this. Some may ask, why are we doing this just now? And I want to make it clear that the reason is this city council is obligated to set salaries for the next city council, and in fact cannot alter the ordinance that impacts us right now. Some of us have taken voluntary freezes over that time frame, but this makes that formal for the next 4 years, both for City Council and Mayor. And I think that's appropriate for the next 4 years. And I think that the amounts are symbolic, but sometimes symbolism is important. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Item number 51, ordinance to amend certain portions of special ordinance numbers 1059, 66, 69, 71, or 178 and 182, levying special assessments for the cost of cutting and clearing weeds, grass, worthless vegetation, and removal of litter on property at 3340 Redmond Avenue.
Public hearing on agenda item number 51 begins now. Are there any proponents?
Kershaw Lee, 3340 Redmond Avenue.
Was there something you wanted to say, ma'am?
Oh, yes. I recently addressed the City Council in 2009. I submitted a letter. I was the caregiver of my grandfather who was in his 80s with dementia. I was not able to attend the hearings, but I was assured that I wouldn't have to worry about the assessments. It would be taken care of. And then the paperwork that I reviewed was submitted to be done, and I believe that it was. And then I just recently found out that it's accruing interest. Since then, I offered to pay either a total amount or a settlement amount because he had a limited income, and he's now deceased. So now it's over $2,000. And so today I'm asking for either a reduced amount, or my uncle, who was the last conservator, is willing to pay $500 towards the ordinance, if that's accepted.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'll be brief. We talked about this in the pre-council meeting, and this was the circumstance where, just to be a little bit more, just to fill in a little bit more of what your issue is, you had been led to believe by my predecessor that they would waive the fees for your grandfather. There had been a practice of that to some extent with the previous council, as I understand it. And in this particular instance, he placed it on file but never notified you that he did that. Correct. And so she has accrued penalties and interest from that time under the assumption that this had been taken care of, to find out only recently, within the last couple of months, I believe it is, that it had not been taken care of. And I would certainly would hope that this council would at least waive the fees and penalties. I did tell her that I couldn't make her any promises or anything like that, but I did ask her for what a settlement amount they feel they could pay, and she mentioned $500. I don't know if that's going to fly, or if the council is going to want just the money for the work that was done, which would be the $1,124,000, but $2,400. But we'll take all this under advisement. But I just wanted to bring it before the council so that they would know what the clear issues are.
And can I add one more thing?
Yes.
Also in 2008, I physically cut the lot. It's a vacant lot. And then the city said they had cut it. And then it took like 9 months for them to take that bill off. They said they cut it, but the neighboring lot had to be cut, not ours. They both were on the list, but ours were done. And it took like over 6 months, till 2009, for them to take off what they said they did. So I don't know if the previous ones were actually done. I can't say that they were or weren't. But there has been experience in 2008. They said they did cut it, and it was not cut by them. It was cut by me.
And that was the 2008?
That was the 2008 one.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Mr. Clerk.
We'll take item 52 and 53 together. 52, special ordinance laying a special tax and assessment on lots and pieces of real estate within Benson Business Improvement District number 6875 for costs in the calendar year 2010, and 53 is for the calendar year 2011.
Public hearing on agenda items numbers 52 and 53 begin now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
We'll take items 54 and 55 together. Are there 54, special ordinance allowing a special tax and assessment on lots and pieces of real estate within Dundee Business Improvement District number 6859 to cover the costs and expenses of the Dundee Business Improvement District for the 2010 calendar year, and 55 is for 2011 calendar year.
Public hearing on agenda items numbers 54 and 55 begin now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Pursuant to City Council Rule 7H, the third reading and public hearing on agenda items number 56 through 58 shall be held on April 16th. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7H, the second reading and public hearing on agenda items number 59 through 60 shall be held on April 9th. Additional resolutions, item number 61, resolution that the purchase from Zoll Medical Corporation for medical support for OMMRS is hereby approved.
Public hearing on agenda item number 61 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem?
Yes.
Stothard? Mr. President.
Yes.
Adopted 7-0. Item 62, resolution purchase from Pruitt Outdoor Power for 8 generators and accessories for the Omaha Medical Response System.
Public hearing on agenda item number 62 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Stothard? Mr. President.
Yes.
Adopted 7-0. Item 63, resolution the appointment of Charles R. Kilgore, Jr. To be a member of the Dundee Business Improvement District Board to serve a 5-year term is hereby approved.
Public hearing on agenda item number 63 begins now. Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Second. Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray? Jerem? Stothard?
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Adopted 7-0.
Motion to adjourn.
Roll call.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson? Gurnett?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Jerem? Stothard? Mr. President.
Yes.
And it's at 2:37.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. spacious.